They literally look like little babies. Hey plant friends, and welcome back for another episode of retake. Welcome back for another episode of Planta by Gia. Warm weather is upon us, so today I'm going to bless you with a delicious, flavorful recipe that's high in protein to keep you full, low in carbohydrates, and also low in calories to keep you slim. Today's dish is called Eggplant Rollatini, and this is a very special dish to me because it is an Italian dish. And guess what? I am Italiana. My full name is actually Giovanna. So growing up, I grew up on a bunch of Italian dishes, and I was kind of sad when I switched to plant-based because I thought that I wouldn't be able to eat these dishes again. But later did I find out that I can still have every single dish just made without animal products. So this dish is actually called Eggplant Rollatini because what you do is you literally roll the eggplant in ricotta cheese. So we obviously are not going to be using any dairy in this kitchen, and we are going to be making the ricotta cheese with tofu. But before I get into the recipe, I wanted to talk to you about why vegans and people who eat whole food plant-based do not consume dairy. So actually, 70% of humans are lactose intolerant. What this means is that their bodies cannot properly break down lactose, which is in dairy. And this can cause nausea, belly cramps and pain, bloating, gas. Dairy is also considered an inflammatory food because it's loaded in saturated fats. And it's also one of the main causes of acne in people. I used to have a lot of acne, and just by cutting out dairy, I saw a dramatic change in my skin complexion. Okay, so let's get into the recipe. So this recipe is going to be separated into 3 parts. The first is a homemade marinara sauce. And we're going to do this first because we want to get it on the stove and let it simmer for about an hour. So what we're going to be needing for the homemade marinara sauce is 1 can of crushed tomatoes, 1 can of tomato paste. Then we're going to mince about 4 to 5 cloves of garlic and use about 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. All right, so let's go get it on the stove. Okay, so we're gonna let the marinara sauce sit on the stove and simmer on a low heat for about an hour. We're going to be needing 2 large eggplants. I found the biggest eggplants I could find. They literally look like little babies. So we're gonna need 2 large eggplants. We're gonna rinse them off, and then what we're going to be doing is slicing them long ways. After that, we're going to be putting some salt on top of them, just a sprinkle of salt, and letting them sit in a colander because what the salt does, it absorbs all the liquid and it also takes the bitterness out of the eggplant. So let's get to slicing. Now you want to slice them about 1/4 inch thick so that it's easy to roll them. So first you want to cut off the sides. And we're not going to use that part. And then you're just going to slice up your knife right to the edge. Just like that. I actually like to use Himalayan salt rather than table salt because Himalayan salt is filled with minerals and it's much less processed than regular salt. Okay, so as we let the eggplant sit and soak out all of the water, we're gonna let it sit for about 15 minutes. We're now going to be making the tofu ricotta. So this dish is a high protein dish, and that is because tofu is very high in plant proteins. It's also a great source of plant-based calcium as well as iron. So to make the tofu ricotta, we're going to put it in a food processor with 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is super healthy for you. It even has some vitamin B12 in it as well. 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, half a cup of fresh basil. I actually went into my garden earlier before and picked these. And some salt and pepper to taste. We're going to put it in the food processor and grind it up. If it gets a little too thick, you can always add a little bit of almond milk, but I suggest just going 1 tablespoon at a time because you don't want it to get too smooth. We want it to be nice and fluffy, like a ricotta cheese. Also, don't forget to check on your marinara sauce. Just give it a little spin and see how it's doing. The kitchen smells beautiful right now. I wish you could smell it. Okay, so now if you see, it's a little blocky. We want to get it a little more smooth, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon of almond milk. You can use any type of plant milk you'd like. And I'm then going to be putting in the basil last to chop it up to give it a little grit. And that is about the consistency that we're looking for. Just like a ricotta cheese. So now since the eggplant has been sitting for about 15 minutes and sweated out a lot, if you feel it now, you can actually see all the water dripping off of it. So now we're just gonna pop it into the oven at 425 for about 15 minutes, and this is gonna soften up the eggplant and make it easier for us to roll. So what you're gonna need is some olive oil or coconut oil. And what you're gonna do is you're just going to spray each side of the eggplant and you're gonna line them up on a baking sheet. Now we're gonna roll it up. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to spoon the sauce into the bottom of the pan. Then we're going to take each eggplant and we're gonna put about a tablespoon of ricotta into each eggplant, and we're gonna roll the eggplant up and place it right on top of the sauce. Then we're gonna line it up nicely and add some more sauce on top. a few extra spices. These are at your own. You can put as much as you want. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of basil and some oregano. Also some red pepper, because I love a little spice. Okay, so now we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it back into the oven at 400 and bake for another 10 minutes, and then we are done. So this dish is also very versatile. You could put it with a side salad, or you could also make some pasta on the side to make it a little bit more higher carb, high calorie meal. I love this dish so much. The ricotta cheese gives it such a depth of flavor, and every bite is just full of richness and scrumptiousness. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like it if you did. Comment down below what you liked best. Let me know other recipes that you would like me to make. You can find me on Instagram at Planta by Gia, and you can also find me on my website at plantabygia.com, where I offer nutrition coaching and fitness plans. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you for the next recipe.